What do you think? How's it look? It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I know it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? If you're a husband, wouldn't you like your wife to look like this, right? Because you know she's not spewing out that toxic stuff, right?
Why I am taping my mouth shut today. Maybe why you should tape your mouth shut today too. Or maybe all week. Maybe you should boy, that's hard to say. Maybe you should tape your mouth shut all week. I'm thinking about taping my mouth shut all day or all week, and I am going to see if you want to join me. All right. Do you ever find that, you have like kind of some good seasons with your spouse, and then there might be just some little seasons where just things seem to be a little just off or just not quite communicating right or just a little bit annoying or whatnot, or, I don't know what the word is. I don't know how you would describe it. Just like little seasons where things you just don't quite seem to connect. And you might find it's because of this, your mouth. And you might find this might just clear it right up. Clear it right up. Okay, so you know that the Bible is full of verses about how the tongue can just be so evil and do so much damage. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Um, it says, don't let any unwholesome word, no unwholesome word come out of your mouth, but only what is good and helpful for building others up. And that includes your spouse and your children, your family. No unwholesome word, only that which is good for building up. Now, how do you do that? Sometimes things just pop out, right? Another helpful channel, helpful YouTuber that has helped me a ton is Paul Friedman, and his channel is called The Marriage Foundation. His principles are just so simple. Sometimes you try to get like marriage or relationship advice, and it's very complicated. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of working through all kinds of stuff and all this stuff. He just boils it down to just the simplest of steps. It is so easy because really, like, if you're, dealing with some things with your spouse, you men are basically very simple. They're very simple creatures, really, and they're easy to please, really. And it's just his advice is great. And like one episode I highly recommend, all his episodes are great, but one I highly recommend is
The 10 most disgusting behaviors that destroy relationships. The 10 most disgusting behaviors that destroy relationships. Sounds pretty intriguing, right? It's definitely worth a listen. It's a 2-part series. It's excellent. And the top two, spoiler alert, the top two in his top 10 list, number one is complaining. 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 How often do you complain? You probably don't even realize. I don't even realize how much I complain because it become a habit. It's a habit, right? You don't mean to complain, but like these habits come up in childhood, right? And they're hard to break. The second top thing, or the second most disgusting behavior that destroys relationships, is criticism. Criticism. You never criticize your husband or kids, right? No. It's so easy to do, and there's just sometimes, right, you just get annoyed by just silly little things and it just pops out, right? So a lot of times, again, I'm saying it's just habit. It's habit. Sometimes you just need to close your mouth. Now, I am not talking here about if you have an ugly, unhealed heart. If you have a heart that needs healed, if you need a heart that needs forgiveness and to find the love of God and just create a new heart inside, that's another issue. That's where you start first. Jesus wants to just create a totally new person inside of you because, right, it says in the Bible, can both fresh water and bitter water flow from the same spring? So if your spring inside is bitter water, then you're going to have a hard time getting fresh water to come out. It's that bitter water is just going to keep spewing out, right? So you need to renew, you need to become a new creature, a new person, right? You need to die with Christ, put to death that old man, and become a new creature, right? And that's where it starts, okay? And then once you have that river, those rivers of living water inside, then that fresh spring water is going to spring forth and bubble forth. But what I'm talking about now is habits, right? You may have been renewed on the inside, a new creature, and you naturally might be thinking good things and are a forgiving, loving person, but just the habits, those ruts that have formed in your brain, your physical body, just come out. And if you have spent your entire life just criticizing or complaining, then it's going to be difficult, right? And one thing that helps is renewing your mind with scripture, just filling your mind with scripture about things you're struggling with, right? And just renew it. So that's what's in your head, just renewing your mind. But again, if it's a habit thing, if you've already become a new creation, if you're renewing your mind with scripture, then the third thing is just habit and just breaking the habit. And so that's where taping your mouth shut might come in handy. So that's what I'm gonna try. Okay, so this actually, it came to me when I thought of the verse, if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away, right? Or if your hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and cast it from you, right? Now, of course, that's hyperbole, but the principle is this is serious business. This is not a laughing matter, right? Toxic stuff coming out of your mouth is not a funny thing to joke about. It's something serious, right? It's not a good thing. So how can you cut, we can't cut off our mouth and throw it away. I'm sure we'd still find ways to, right? So the next best thing besides cutting your mouth off is tape, okay? Now, if you're spewing out ugliness in your words through the internet, then you may want to put on a pair of winter mittens so you cannot spew out ugliness on the internet. So that's a tip if your words come out that way. Put on mittens. Make it hard for you to do that. Or think twice. Think twice before you do that. So this is what it is. It just helps you think twice before you speak. Okay? So all you have to do, this is medical tape. This is what I found is best for taping lips shut. And I know because I, about a year ago or so, I have trouble with teeth grinding at night when I sleep. And I experimented with different tapes to tape my mouth shut during the night, and it actually really helps prevent teeth grinding, which is great. So I actually did a blog post about this, how to use tape to prevent teeth grinding. But basically, you just put tape on at night, and that'll help. So you just take a little bit like this. I'm a very practical person. I'm gonna show you how to do this. And you just cut off a little bit like that. And if you're frugal like me, you can double your tape by cutting this piece vertically in half. So now you get 2 for the price of 1. And that'll last you 2 days or until you start speaking again. So you have this little piece of tape and it comes off really easily. So you can just put on like vertically or, horizontal, diagonally a little bit like this. What do you think? How's it look? Gorgeous? It's gorgeous. I know it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? If you're a husband, wouldn't you like your wife to look like this, right? Because she's not spewing out that toxic stuff, right? So Okay, I challenge you. Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this for a day, and I might try it for a week, and I'll let you know how it goes. You have to think twice before taking it off because it does lose its stickiness pretty easily. It loses its stickiness, so you know don't want to be taking it all the time. You don't want to be taking it off all the time to talk. So it makes you think twice about, is what I'm going to say wholesome and beneficial and helpful to the people I'm speaking to? If it's not wholesome or beneficial, then keep the tape on. Don't say anything. Don't say anything, right? Now, you don't want to be festering and building up that resentment and inside. Well, then you've got to deal with what's inside, right? But it's much easier to deal with what's inside if you're not spewing it out your mouth. Okay. Keep it inside. Deal with it between you and God. No need to spew out toxicity all over and spew that all over everybody. Right? It's just toxic, and it does no one any good. Like, once you start realizing the things you're criticizing about your spouse or your kids or others actually doesn't work to change anything, you think, and it just only damages, you start thinking twice, maybe I shouldn't be criticizing, right? And if you're complaining about stuff that can't even be changed, that's already happened, or something that you just can't even do anything about, or you should have done, right? Then what good is that, right? I remember one time, like, my husband really bugged him when I was in the habit of saying, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, I should have brought that. Oh, I should have, whatever. What good? What good is it now? What good is it now? Yeah, you should have. I should have, but I can't change it. I can't change it. Oh, Hal Elrod actually has a great book about this. He talks about, right, if it's something you can't change, when something bad happens, you just got to say, well, can't change it, right? Can't change it, and just move on, right? Unless you can do something about it, there's no use just talking about it, right? Unless it's in some way helpful or beneficial. So yeah, I am trying this. It's going to be an experiment. It's going to be fun. My husband was pretty excited to hear I was going to try this. He thought it was a great idea. I don't know why, but I challenge you to join me. Join me. I'll include a link to where you can buy this medical tape that doesn't hurt your lips, won't rip off any sensitive skin or anything, in the description below. Get yourself some, or just use a little bit of masking tape or what you have on hand if it works and doesn't tear up your lips too badly. And again, if you spew things out through the internet, put on a pair of winter gloves. Doesn't cost anything. You never know what may happen, right? So again, break this habit, right? It's nothing but destructive. Nothing but destructive when you're criticizing and complaining. So if you want to break that criticizing and complaining habit, just tape your mouth shut, think twice before you speak, and see what happens. Check the results, right? You may be surprised. All right, till next time, guys. Oh, be sure to subscribe. That's an airplane. I always forget to say like and subscribe, but I do appreciate you liking and subscribing and supporting this channel. So till next time, right, bye.